so.
Yeah.
WB testing 1, 2, 3. How do you copy? Over.
Receiving your WB test loud and clear. How me? Over.
Loud, clear. Distance 5 or 2. Over. Testing 1, 2, 3. How do you copy? Over.
Receiving your WB test loud and clear. How me? Over.
Loud, clear.
Copy. Second WB test loud and clear. How me? Over.
Loud, clear. Over. Radio ignition out.
Don't recall.
Yeah, that's all. It's only for business use anyway. Safety first.
Thank you for all other transit services and light rail services. This train is terminating at Central for all passengers, please leave the train.